Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant. Sisters and brothers, I have a brief little talk here, just critical analytics about respect. What does that mean? As I've been saying, everything costs. I don't know if I can bring that said enough. Everything costs. To speak, to blink your eyes, to think, your heartbeat, everything costs. And once you understand that, then you know how to invest your energy. Because we all have the same amount of energy, we get the same amount of allotment every day, each and every one of us. And so once you understand how much energy you get, right, then you should be wise enough to know how to invest that energy to get the best results. You can abuse the energy, and if in effect you'll be abusing yourself. Everything costs. And right now our people are suffering self-imposed energy deprivation because they don't understand this basic fact, so they be abusing their energy allotment and going after making false investments and ruining themselves, ruining their souls. As the Bible and the Quran both tell you, if you ruin your soul, you will not enter into hereafter. They're ruining their souls because they inappropriately investing their energy. They invest energy in this devil's dream, this American dream, right? And neglecting themselves. Then I can't understand why they got hypertension, diabetes, and all those other ailments. Because they're not investing energy wisely. See, we went through energy deprivation 50,000 years very acutely for the last 500 years. See? And that's in part why we submitted to Adam, because that was the best investment of our energy. Like I said, dirty water is better than no water. So we're going to try to understand that in a very simple analogy here. In the sense of respect. Respect costs. If someone gives you a greeting, that costs. You received it, that means you received the gift of positive energy. That's why the Quran says if someone gives you the greeting, you should return it. Because everything costs. Like it says, Allah takes account of all things. See, you need to understand that concept, brothers and sisters, and then you can walk through fire and not get burnt. So let's proceed. Now here's a very simple analogy here. You take someone, see that 10 there, that 10 represents how much pressure there is. Right? That's the normal pressure. I mean, that's not the exact number, right? That's just an analogy. So say the pressure is 10. Right? 10 units of pressure everywhere. Okay? So here you got Suleiman there. So what he does is he starts studying something that takes a lot of energy. So we say 10 units of energy or 10 units of pressure. We use it that way. So he does something that takes a lot of energy. See, like lifting weights, right? You start lifting weights, you get stronger and stronger and stronger. So he takes something that takes a lot of energy to generate, right, a lot of mental pressure. See? So he takes on that task. So let's see what happens. Boom. He takes on mastering the angel, right? Over a 30-year task. So he builds up his pressure to 1,000. His thought pressure to 1,000, from 10 to 1,000. The normal was 10 for everyone. But he builds up to 1,000. By him building, he puts pressure on everybody else. So in other words, he put pressure all around him to 1,000, pressure 1,000 all around him. See, what does that mean? That means, right? Now he gets he forces everybody around him, right, to respect him to 1,000 units of pressure, because high pressure pushes out lower pressure. That's the pressure he's putting on everyone. So everyone that keeps it until he put that much pressure on everyone else. So to equalize that, the pressure outside has to, I mean, if you're in a room, right, and you're in a crowded elevator, and you start putting pressure, you got to start getting bigger. You're going to pressure everybody, and you're going to keep on doing that until the pressure outside is equal to the pressure on the inside, and then you can't do it anymore. So so by doing that, he put pressure on the outside to 1,000 units. See? So that's respect. See? You got to understand what respect is. It's like you avoid a snake respecting that snake because you know what a snake can do. See, so like a person that goes to be a doctor, right? Okay, now you say, oh, you call him a doctor now because he's put the energy in. Be called a doctor, so you give him respect that doctor deserves. He's a scientist. You give him respect that science because he produced the energy to begin that title. Understand? It took energy to get that title. So you give respect. So you have to understand it. Is that people respect you, say, oh, he's Master from Muhammad. He's Dr. Shabazz. He's Dr. Yaqub. See, we respect Dr. Yaqub's creation for 6,000 years. He ran enough energy to demand respect for 6,000 years. See, until someone came along that had greater pressure than him. That's what Elijah Muhammad said. He would maintain control until someone came along, had greater mental pressure than him. That means it will crush his pressure. If your pressure is greater, it will crush, it moves out. So in other words, if your pressure is greater, right, it either moves pressure, it moves lower pressure away from you, or if you're surrounding lower pressure, it will crush the lower pressure. If you're greater than the pressure around you, you move that pressure away. If you're greater than the pressure within you, then you'll crush that pressure. If you're surrounding the pressure that's lower than you, you'll crush it. If you, that's why it says, those that he fell upon, right, he was broken, and those who fell upon him and he was crushed to some to that extent, right? That's why it's talking, because if you're inside, see, right? So when he comes and you're inside the Nation of Islam, right, you'd be crushed. If you're weaker, if you're outside, you'd be broken. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand this, because some of us probably don't understand how pressure works. So he expands. So now that's respect. Now anyone doesn't give them that respect, right? They got 1,000 pounds of pressure on them. If they don't get that respect by backing off and say respect them, respect Master from Muhammad, be Master from Muhammad, right? Then they're still affected by that pressure. So either you bow to it or you get crushed by it. Either you're bow to it, that's respect. Either way, you're respecting it. You're respecting it willingly or unwillingly. If you respect it willingly, that means you bow to it. If you respect it unwillingly, that means you're crushed by it. See? So those that recognize the Son of Man, right? See, then they're enhanced by it because they respect it. Those that recognize and recognize and support it, they respect it. See, those that don't are disrespecting it, and so they've been crushed by it. Hope you understand that. That's what's going on in the world today. Those that accept it, right? Respect it, right? Then that means, right, they're improved by it. But those that disrespect it, don't respect it, they're crushed by it. Either way, that force of 1,000 pounds will affect them one way or the other. Either break them or strengthen them. Break them or strengthen them. Pressure will either strengthen you or crush you. Hope you understand that. So that's what's happening there. So he took, okay, now, so he says, now, because remember, he called him master because that's what it takes to be a master. If you master that, and you say, okay, and it takes 1,000 units of energy, then okay, then you deserve to be called a master of the angel if it takes 1,000 units of energy, right, to achieve that. See, that means you put pressure on everybody around you, and they have to take and adjust to that pressure to 1,000 units, right? To balance, everything has to be balanced. See, if you take and put pressure in a room, right? That's why you put pressure on a tire, and we'll have the tire gets bigger, right? To adjust to it, and the more pressure you put, the bigger it gets to compensate. See, hope you understand, bro. I said, hope I'm getting this point across. So let's move to the next one. Now, listen to this. Now, someone comes along and says, I'm the Son of Man. But they haven't put the work in to achieve the pressure that it took to have that title. I'm Jesus. I'm the Son of Man. Right? But it takes, and so therefore by saying that, you get to respect the 1,000 pounds of pressure, respect that that title deserves. You get it, but you don't deserve it. So people are giving you that respect. See? So now you got 1,000 units outside, right? But you don't have 1,000 units inside. You didn't build up the 1,000 units of pressure to deserve that respect. You got 1,000 people respecting you outside. So wait a minute, how can that happen? See? Because remember, we work on thoughts. So you deceive people, and they think that you have that, so they're giving you respect, right? They give you that respect of 1,000 units of pressure, right? That means you have 1,000 units of pressure that you build up on the outside by lying, but you don't have the pressure inside to justify it. You don't have the pressure inside to justify it. Like you go around telling everybody you can lift 1,000 pounds, and you can't. Then somebody drops 1,000 pounds your ass, and then you crush it. You can't carry. Oh man, I can lift 1,000 pounds. Everybody believe on me. They tell her, man, he can lift 1,000 pounds, man. Wow, that dude is, he's deep. He can lift 1,000 pounds, right? Until one day you walk along and dude drop 1,000 pounds on you, crush you because you can't even lift 1,000 pounds. Like you going to tell him, I'm a karate expert. I'm a 50-degree black belt, and you don't know it. You don't have any of that. Oh, you know how people. Oh man, don't mess with him. See. He don't mess with him. He's 50-degree black belt, so you're getting that respect. And you don't know a damn thing about karate. You can't even spell it. Then one day you run into a 50-degree black belt and he whoops your ass. You see? Because he think you're 50-degree black belt, so man, he go back and so you can't do anything. But everybody was giving that respect, and that's what happened. So what happens is when you do that, right? He's only a 10 inside, but he's getting the respect of 1,000. So therefore, he's got 909 units of negative energy on him. 990 units of negative energy on him. To maintain that respect, he's got 990 units of negative energy, negative pressure on him. To maintain that kind of respect. That's crushing. That's disembowelment. See, that's cancer. That's all kinds of things. Negative things. Because you don't deserve it. Because you haven't built up the pressure that it took to earn that title. Because people respecting that title. See. But you don't have the pressure to support it. So therefore, you got all this negative energy coming at you. Hope you understand, brothers. I try to make it as simple as possible. See, that's why Farrakhan's being he's totally just devastated physically, totally, mentally too. They'll tell if he ask me, but totally devastated physically because he walk around claiming he's something he ain't, and he's getting respect for that he claiming he is, and he's getting respect for it, and therefore, right, and so he's generating all this negative energy. Because he doesn't have nothing to support what he's saying. He has to put energy in, the time in. See, what Suleiman did. Simple analogy, But I think you'll understand if I put it this particular way. See? So like I said, in the case of Suleiman, he's not getting the respect, right, of that, not yet anyway. So therefore, those who won't respect them, right, they're being crushed. They're being broken. See, they're not being successful. They don't realize it. Because when they disrespect, right, that force is still out there. They still exposed to 1,000 years of pressure that he's putting on the world because he earned it. He took and built that much energy. See? So if they're not, if either they bow to it or they be crushed by it, they're going to understand that in a minute. That's why all these scriptees, these vipers, right? We don't care about the demons. They crushed anyway. See? These scriptees, these vipers, see? They're going down hard. They're not successful now. They never will be. Because now that Suleiman is on the scene with the angel, right? See, he's putting that much pressure on the world. And the more he studies it, the more he gets into it, the more he manifests it, it's creating the pressure. See? Until the pressure is so great that the caves of this world cannot withstand it. Say they can only withstand 1,500 units of pressure. That's all their mind can withstand. Suleiman, he's already lifted up to 1,000. See, approaching 1,100. Once you get to 500, their minds collapse. Their minds under pressure right now, but after 1,500, they can't take more than 1,500. Their minds crash. Their minds crash because they can't outthink them. Their minds can't handle any more than that. That's what it says in what it says. It says in the lessons that the original man has 7 ounces, and cave only has 6.5 ounces. They're talking about pressure there. An ounce is force. Weight is force. He's talking about pressure there. He said they're going to handle 6.5 pounds of pressure. When the original man can produce 7 pounds of pressure, that means when the original man is using this, has taken and have thorough knowledge of themselves, he crushes KV because KV cannot withstand more than 6.5 pounds of pressure. More than 6.5 ounces. When you understand weight is force, force is pressure. See, they talk things because they know most of you scientists won't understand that. Weight is pressure, weight is force. When you walk on the floor, right, the more weight you have, the more force you put on the floor, isn't it? It's just another way of expressing force and pressure. So he says caving mind is only 6, can only handle 6.5. I may have it wrong. It's either 6 ounces or 6.5 ounces. And the original mind can handle 7 or 7.5. It's one of the two. But anyway, the point is that when the original man, when the original people, when they get their full, when they have their knowledge themselves, they're thinking properly, then they crush KV because he can only withstand, I'm going to go with the 6.5 ounces. He can only withstand 6.5 ounces of force. And they can produce 7 ounces naturally. See? That's what I was trying to tell you. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. Let's move on. I said it was going to be a short presentation here. Okay, I want to say this quickly. If you have a car and it's in drive, right? That means, right? Okay, you're driving down, you're in drive. That means the engine is powering that car, right? See? And the more you put on the gas, the more fuel you give it, more power the engine has, the more it powers that car to move. It's driving that car. That's what's called drive. It's moving it. But if you take your foot off the gas or throw it into neutral, then there's no force driving anymore. Engine's not driving anymore. See? So it doesn't have velocity, it has momentum. See? Acceleration means you're increasing your speed or decreasing your speed. In other words, it's a change in speed. So if you're going 100 miles to 101 miles, 100, that's acceleration. Or if you're going 100 miles to 90 miles to 8, that's deceleration, but still acceleration. But if you're going a constant 100 miles an hour, that's the velocity. That's the difference. See, so, and the novice way will say speed. Speed is kind of incorrect, but speed is really analogous to velocity, right? So when you step on the gas, right, you feel acceleration, and you know acceleration because you know when you step on the gas, you can feel yourself push back against the seat, or if you slow down, you feel yourself move forward, because that means you're changing the force. Velocity, you don't have that. You don't move because there's no change in force, no strength, so nothing. It's just normal. I'm saying try to keep it as simple as possible. So right now, you have a driving force. Like I said, once you take out a drive or take foot off gas, then you have momentum. So when there's momentum, that means it's easy and can be stopped. And the car can easily be stopped and change direction. Because there's nothing driving it. It's just, momentum is just moving forward with nothing driving it. That's just what's left of the speed it was going. See? So if you move up to 100 miles an hour, you put a foot off the gas, throw it in neutral, right? Then it's going to coast at 100 miles an hour. But you got the wind, you got the gravity and everything gradually slowing it down. There's nothing driving anymore. Eventually it'll slow down until it stops. That's momentum. See? So right now we have two forces driving the world. We call it the Christ and Antichrist. It began in 1948. Two forces driving the world. See, that was the official end of our energy deprivation. Because now, since then, black folks been suffering self-imposed energy deprivation, which Elijah Muhammad was trying to heal you of. If you follow his guidance, those that did follow his guidance did not suffer in self-imposed energy deprivation anymore. I know I didn't once I became aware of him in 1970. My days of self-imposed energy deprivation ended. So you got the Christ and Antichrist, right? See, anti, like you got zero, the negative, and the positive. So you got a 0, 5, and -5 put you back at 0. -5 is anti, 5 is the positive. So 6 would be the Christ, or 7 be the Christ, and -7 be the Antichrist. And they would oppose each other, forcing a stalemate down to 0. Until energy increases and is in favor of the Christ. So he moves up to 8, and the Antichrist moves down to 6 until Antichrist gets down to 0. He got no power anymore. And that's what's happening now. So you got these two forces, these two ideas. See, Suleiman's bringing in the new world, the new ideas based on the original mind. Caving, or Antichrist, is fueling, is driving this world's vision, so-called American vision, forcing America, or the European vision. They're forcing the European vision or the American vision. See, they're driving it. See, while Suleiman is driving the other way. Like I said, they got this mechanical, electronic visions, Cyberman, so to speak. And you got the biological vision that they're trying to destroy. Global warming, climate control, so forth. Right? See. It says those who are destroying the earth, Son of Man will destroy those who come to destroy the earth, because they're destroying the earth, trying to bring in their mechanical, electronic vision. That's the ultimate goal. And Suleiman is driving in the other direction to bring in his biological, renewed biological creation. The renewed, because they've corrupted it. The renewed biological creation. See, a garden as wide as the heavens and the earth. So you got these two opposing forces. See, one in the east and one in the west, opposite sides of the earth. See, that's no coincidence either. See, and the other one's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. See, so what happens? If you knock the other one out, if you snatch the engine out, or stop it from being in drive, take it out of drive into neutral, then there's nothing to oppose the positive drive. See, put it another way, say you got two cars, and they're facing each other, they're right bumper to bumper, and both of them step on the gas, and both of them same identical cars, or identical trucks, right? Identical trucks. And they bumper to bumper, facing each other, and both of them step on the gas 100 miles an hour. You got all that power, but neither one moving. Neither one moving, because this one's pushing 100 miles this way, and this pushing 100 miles that way, right? And they're going right together. So, and nothing moving, unless this one goes out to 90, right? If you go to 90, the other one start moving 10 miles an hour, pushing it 10 miles an hour backwards. So you're both of them going 100, and neither one moving. But one goes up to one moves up to one drops down to 90, then the 100 is going to move it backwards 10 miles an hour. So we understand that. But if you take and the other one and just take his engine out or drop it in neutral, then the other one's going to move it 100 miles an hour in that direction because there's nothing opposing it. There's nothing opposing it now. So now it's going to be moving 100 miles an hour. It's going to push another car 100 miles an hour too. Down the road. Hope you understand that. So that's what's going to happen. When Master Muhammad snatches them out and buries them, false Israel, the abomination of desolation, when they're taken out, that means there's nothing to oppose Suleiman's vision, and so there is just a momentum left. So he's crushing everything in his path. See? Because he turned everything back in that direction towards that vision. There'll be only one vision, the mathematical vision. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. I hope I made that clear enough. See? Once he takes that vision out, then there's nothing to oppose it. The other car went to neutral. You're still going 100 miles per hour, right? So now you're pushing that down the road 100 miles per hour. It can't do anything because it can't unless you get back to the drive. And it's not because you don't have an engine now anymore. And so right now it looks like neither one moving. So you're sitting there hours, man, all that energy and nothing's happening. Then suddenly, bam, there's moving it's moving 100 miles an hour down the road. That car's pushing 100 miles an hour down the road. He's going 100 miles an hour. This one's going 100 miles an hour backwards, going over in the same direction as the positive one. That's what it's talking about, brothers and sisters. That's why I said he would take him out of the route. Once you take him out, see. So, but up to that point, it looks like nobody's going anywhere. It looks like, man, oh man, look at him, man. There's all that energy they expending. Nothing's happening. Nothing happened. All that energy they expending. Nothing's happening. It's just, man, here, tires squealing and everything else, man. But nothing moving. And all of a sudden, bam, whew, and just taking out the one of them, and now they're moving down so fast you can't keep up with them. And that's what it's talking about, brothers and sisters. Master Muhammad is getting ready to snatch the engine out. See, there's nothing to drive that false vision anymore because that's what's driving it. America and Britain is fueling it. See, it has gas, but the gas not doing any good if there's no engine. If it's in neutral, the gas won't do it any good. So they're fueling it, but they're not driving it. False Israel is driving this whole vision. That's why I say the God is well. False Israel is driving this vision. America and Britain is just fueling it. And when they're getting their fuel from the dragon, do you understand, brothers and sisters? I'll make it clear as I can. They're getting their fuel from the dragon, right? And they're taking and giving that fuel to false Israel, and Israel is the one that's doing the drive, and they're driving the whole affair. So if you take out both Israel, it doesn't matter how much fuel they got, right? Because of no engine, they can't drive it anymore. So now Suleiman's vision runs over them all, turns them all around in his direction overnight. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. I think I'm going to leave it there. Except to say, except to say, that's what we're doing, brothers and sisters. Right now, we got the whole world on our shoulders. But we can handle it because we made it all. We make our own the cream of the planet Earth, God, the universe. We can lift it, and God can make our try to lift it. They couldn't do it. They tried to lift it. They couldn't do it. See? They couldn't do it. We can't. Because we make our own the cream of the planet Earth, God, the universe. See? We can lift it. They can't. They tried. They can't. Only we can. And the angel is the book that gives us, I say it's a mathematical book, all of mathematical books, but it's a mental gem. So we can lift up the planet. Because that's what we're doing, brothers. That's what we're lifting up the planet. Lift up our people. And once they lift it up, see, the world is no burden to us. It's been a burden to them. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. If you look around, you notice it's getting very intense. Both sides are acknowledging now that both Israel and Iran are acknowledging they actually at war. And it's getting hotter every day. Who's been telling you this? Who's been 100% on the money all the time? Who's been telling you this? No one's been telling you this but us. That's come from the angel. See? And it's getting hotter. So at what point? They weren't doing this a year ago, and they in fact, they never talked like this before. And then what's going on with China? Right? They said they'd be at war with China any day now. And all these things happen at the same time. Who's been telling you this, brothers and sisters? See? Suleiman will make profits. See? So if you study the angel, if you're not studying the angel, you're wasting your time, brothers and sisters. I mean, you're still going to get your reward. Right? But, are you going to get one of those 12 crowns? It's hard, but you got to study it, brothers and sisters, because it's like going to the gym. Right? You have to study it. So once you break through, start getting the basic understanding, the rest is, well, I'm not going to say it's a piece of cake, but hey, now you got some traction. It took me a while to get some traction. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. See, the world is coming into focus exactly like we're talking about. Not like they're talking about, because they have no idea. It's coming into focus. See, be crystal clear in a minute. For some of you, it's crystal clear already. It's going to be crystal clear for everybody in a minute. When falls to Israel, abomination, desolation goes down, there's nothing to drive this vision anymore. So what would you do? When if you woke up one morning after having this beautiful dream, it was so real, man, you was in it, you thought that was it. Then you wake up to find out, right, that today is the day of your electrocution, you're on death row, and they're getting ready to electrocute your ass. I said, what the? Because you thought you was awake in that dream. And then you wake up and to a nightmare. I said, what the? Look at what that? That's what's about to happen in America in a minute. They're about to wake up from this American dream into the nightmare of who they truly are. This dream of angels to the reality of devils. See, this dream of God helping them and they being invincible to God destroying them, hating them. God loving them to God hating them. See? Not invincibility, right? To vulnerability. Instantly, overnight, over the greatest on the earth, found they're the weakest. And he's bound and about to be on death row and about to be electrocuted. Just think about that. That's the mindset that's going to be in a few more days here. Assalamu alaikum. Again, brothers and sisters, Messenger of the Covenant, if you understand any of this, you want to help us out, we're not requiring anything of you. See? We'll give you the information you need so you can be a beacon for our people, because it's getting darker and darker. And we're the only lights. And the more lights we can have, the better for our people, because they're going to need to know what to do. Because our people walk around in darkness, not their fault. They walk around in the darkness of the demons. These demons, boy, in darkness of their shadows. They're walking around in the darkness of the shadows, cast by the demons, cast by the vipers, cast by the devils, but mostly the demons. See, that's the darkness they walk around in. That's why we got to move those demons then, because they're blocking the light. See, because it could be daylight, it could be bright, but if you're under a tree, a big tree, it's dark because you're under the shadow. The tree's blocking the light. And that's what's happening. It's artificial light, but once we move them, then the light comes shining in. So it's not people's fault. See? You're lying, Ishmael talking, all this sin, everything. No, bullshit. Right? It says we're not struggling with flesh and blood. That means we're not struggling with our own wickedness and all that stuff. No, he says we're not struggling with flesh and blood, but by evil men in high places like demons and Farrakhan, those type of people. Because our people is Muslim by nature and by deed, because we're the only ones submit to Adam, so we're the only true Muslims on the planet. And we're righteous by nature, because Master Muhammad said we're righteous Muslims. So Farrakhan told us we sinful, that kind of BS, because he's a demon. His father was a devil. See? And he's paying the price, pretending he's something he's not. See, I can tell you what he is. And I can tell you what he's not. See, he definitely is not the son of man, but he is the son of perdition. Assalamu alaikum.